Hey everybody, Logan here, and I'm actually very hyped to say that I get to open up, unbox this brand new line from PowerA called Lumectra. So they recently announced these, and as of recording, these haven't even come out yet. Well, at retail, but they've been announced, and they sent them to me, and I was like, wow, I didn't expect them to make light up accessories for not just the controllers, but for your setup. So first we're going to take a look at the Lumetra Xbox wired Advantage controller. So it seems like a lot of their new controllers are on that Advantage line, where they're pro controllers, but for a not so pro price, if that makes any sense. I've covered the latest Sonic the Hedgehog one and the Sparkle one. The Sparkle one was the first one to hit, and it has the hairline trigger locks in the back, as well as, you know, everything else you'd come to expect from a standard pro controller, like mappable buttons. This has that too, but as well as the RGB lighting around it. And I thought this was a really cool inclusion, the light strip. Now, they also sent me the full light strip. 18 feet. This one is 4 feet. This is the one I'm going to put behind my TV. Currently, I have... It's not terrible, it's just flimsy, and it constantly falls off, and it has a little remote here that I have situated behind the back of my TV. But over time, it keeps falling off, and I have to stick it back on with tape, and it doesn't have the best adhesive. So I'm hoping, this already looks a million times better. We're going to take a look at both of these. We're going to open them up. I'm still thinking, where am I going to put 18 feet? I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I've got plenty of furniture. I've got a small one behind me, behind the arcade unit. I've got an entertainment system that you can't see, but you usually see it in the thumbnails. It's in the back around it. I can put it there, and then I have one situated on the back of the TV, and I have a 59-inch, no, I think it's a 55-inch here in my game room. So I'm like, 18 feet, where would I put 18 feet? I'll think about that. We'll have a decision by the end of this video, but right now, let's hit that intro. I've gone on long enough. Let's open this and see what comes in here. I'm really looking forward to it. Okie dokie. So here we go. We've got the controller and the light up strip. This we're going to take a look after this because I'm pretty sure, I'm just assuming at this point, it's going to be the same as this one, just significantly longer. A whole, 14 feet longer. So we'll see. We'll put that off to the side right now. Let's take a look at this. I'll put the little knife here, but take a little closer look at the box. PowerA Advantage wired controller with Lumetra RGB LED strip. Now, after reading the box itself, you've got multi-zone RGB, mappable buttons, 3-way trigger locks, which are great. I've been using them. Comes with, there's also available Lumetra 18-foot RGB strip. So that's pretty cool. You have zone lighting. One thing is, we're going to take a look right now. I think it says it right here. Control your Lumetra zone lighting with your controller. So we're going to see how that works. You need the app, which you can download using the PowerA Gamer HQ app on your Xbox, which I do have. So here it shows you have multi-zones, thousands of colors, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, 3 fun lighting modes. So it's zone 1 is going to be on the left, zone 2 is going to be on the right, zone 3 are the left stick and the face buttons. Zone 4 is the D-pad and the right stick. Now, the strip also looks like it has its own individual controller as well. So we'll take a look at that in a second. Everything else seems to be exactly the same as the standard Advantage controller that we've already seen, that I've covered twice already. So let's open this up and take a look. Now, the box is kind of heavy. Of course, because there's more than just a controller in here. I'm actually really psyched when they said they'd send me this, and I was like, wow, you guys are doing me great favors by letting me see all this new product. So far, I haven't complained about anything except for the Moga's shoulder buttons that have been really clacky. And you guys have watched me enough. You know how I don't like loud buttons, especially D-pads. Okay, nice packaging. We've got... That's it, nothing else. I'm not a big fan of grabbing them by the sticks, but it's like the only way to do it. So you grab them by the stick. Oh, that's actually got some weight to it. That's got some nice weight to it. All right, let's take a look at the back first. So we've got... I'm having a hard time reading that. Map, RGB, INT LED, exterior LED, interior. Interior LED, exterior LED, map RGB. We'll take a look at the instructions to see what those mean. So some people have asked me, and I really didn't think, actually it was one person, but I've seen it brought up, I should say. I didn't really think about this. Inside the Xbox triggers, there are pieces of cloth that make it a lot quieter. These do not have it. I think you can hear. Which is fine because I'm hearing, now we're getting to the point where those pieces of cloth that make it quieter are starting to lose their adhesive and stuff like that. So, yeah, it might sound a little nicer, have a little softer touch, but I like this better because you're not going to have to worry about any problems with trigger cloth adhesive issues, I guess. But that's fine. That doesn't bother me. So we have... all three. Again, same as my other videos covering the Sparkle and the Sonic one. Now you can see where the lighting sections would be. Now this one doesn't have the headphone jack or anything like that as the other ones do. I like the weight on that. They've really increased it. I like that. It feels much heavier. Even though the standard Advantage ones have some weight to them, that has a very, very good weight. I like that. All right, so here we go. Please say Type-C. It is Type-C. Da-da-da-da. Hey, look, Apple just got on board with that, which everything has said. My controllers had Type-C before the iPhone did. Yeah. I'm not an iPhone fan, sorry. But we're not talking about phones. We're talking about RGB lighting. All right. So that's the lighting setup. It plugs in via USB. So does my current one. This already has a much thicker wire than what I have. That's nice. I'm not going to throw the brand under the bus. It is a major brand, but I'm not the happiest with it. So I'm not going to throw them under the bus. But this is thicker. This would plug either, I guess, into your console or your TV. I will be plugging this into the back of my TV. So let's see how long this is. Okay, that's a good length. So this will drop down from the back of the TV. This will be under it. And then the way I'll situate this. Interesting. Okay, so the way I'll situate this, yes, it does have an adhesive. You guys can see it right there. Is that fiber optic? No, it's just a little light on the end. Interesting. Okay, I can see that. So this right here is a secondary light. That, I think, is the sensor. That's what that is. So it's going to react with the controller, because the controller will be able to control the lights separately. All right, so this is definitely going around the back of the TV. I think I have enough length here to go around 4 feet. I want to say the one on my current TV is the same length. So it's a much thicker one. So you guys aren't going to see me set this up. You're just going to see the final product. So let's move this one aside. We're going to connect this in just a moment. We're going to transition over to that part of the video, but let's open this first and just see if there's any difference, because this is a much heavier box. I get it. It's 18 feet compared to 4 feet. So it makes a whole lot of sense. I might think about running this in the closet here in the game room, or around the closet in my office, to give a little more color vibe when I'm doing the live streams for the Ready to Start podcast. If so, that could be really cool. I'll think maybe I'll even put it in my arcade and out in another room in the house, because I do have a little arcade room. Might put it there. It might be a little cool thing to do. Instructions. Okay, so here we've got a whole different power setup. They give you a power cord, so you don't have to worry about plugging it into USB. I greatly appreciate that, because every one I've purchased before has had USB, so I had to configure or buy something else like this that had USB. You know, it just wasn't an all-in-one. This is an all-in-one. So yes, there we go. Okay, so that's going to be the whole 18 feet. All right, so this is going to be technically different. You have a remote here, and your setup here, which will plug. Where does this one would plug into the power spot here? That one would plug into the cable here, and that's your sensor. Gotcha. Okay, so this I'll probably come back to in a later video, because I have no idea where I'm going to put that. But that is a really cool thing for them to add on. I greatly appreciate that, PowerA. And let's take a look at the instructions before we hit up the controller and test it out. So the gamepad layout is going to be as follows. Everything's going to be here. Share, directional button, RSB, right stick, left stick, L bumper, view. What is this? ABXY button, RB, menu. So that's going to be a different menu button. I don't know why they call it view. Okay. LED indicator. Common sense. Here, this is what I wanted to look up. Advanced gaming programming buttons. Okay, so trigger locks, map, AGB program, AGBR program, extended LED, external LED, internal LED, AGB. All right, so after I get this connected, I'm going to see what the app says. External control here. External control. There we go. Okay, here we go. A little bit better. Speed settings on all zones. Internal. You hit the internal LED button and you can change the speed settings using that button, the view button. Internal LB with it depressed and of course setting up. Adjust all zone modes. Directional pad, select mode, right select. Okay, this is a little complicated. This is a little complicated, but if you read the directions, you'll be fine. It's not as simple as say what was the switch Spectra. That was just a little button here in the center. That was one thing I really liked, but I get this because you're just not getting one single zone. You're getting 4 different customization zones, and you're also getting control for the lighting. So, okay, the LED strip. All right, I am going to start setting this up, and we'll be back in a jiffy. All right, so here we go. I'm actually in my office. I've connected to my Series X in here to give you a better view of the app and the app controls. As soon as you boot up the app, it's going to recognize your controller. As you can see, mine lights up base green. As soon as you plug it in, all the zones light up green. So we're going to take a look through the app and just configure it through the app. Now, it gives you the option, if it's not the right controller, you can hit the identify button, which is why. Otherwise, it says Advantage wired controller for Xbox Series XX with Lumetra black. That's exactly what I have. So we hit A. All right, let me move myself here. Let's move me down here a little smaller so we can get the best look at what's going on here. Advantage wired controller. You can test out the zones, adjust your dead zones, your triggers, everything like that. Headset speaker. All right, everything here is fine. Now what this does is allow you to change and adjust what your buttons and controls do. Now, if you're familiar with any of the customization, it allows you to test and all that other good stuff. So impulse, you can do a sound test, which is Y plus RT. Interesting. Rumble, A and RT. Impulse, B and RT. Or A and LT for rumble for the left side. R for the impulse. Okay. You can adjust your dead zones, all that other good stuff. Make sure everything's working. You can see I'm testing everything. Everything seems to be fine. Everything's working. All right. Now, if we So the share button, there's no addressing the share button here. Now, what it looks like, there's no in-game or in-app, controls for the RGB. So the RGB, if you just randomly press, things don't happen besides turning off. All right. So with that being said, that's all the app does. The app does not control the color functions. I was hoping for that, but hey, it doesn't. So we're going to go back and follow the instructions and see exactly how we can control all 4 zones and their colors. Okay, here we go with the setup. I've already done it right now, so I can give you a gist of what's going on and what each setup does. Now, when I say each setup, you've got internal and external. Internal means everything on the controller. Well, I'm just calling it that because it says INT, EXT. So I'm going with internal and external. Internal being the controller, external being the RGB lights. I've also installed the RGB lights. So in a moment, after we cover what the lighting controls do on the controller, we're also going to take a look at how I set it up on the back of my television. Well, you're not going to see the back of my television. You're just going to see what the lights look like, and they actually look pretty nice. With that being said, internal controller, external controls the lights on the back of the TV or the strip. It does have a sensor. Now, the sensor you're going to need to point to the screen. As it shows right here, there's a little sensor that pops out. But first, let's look at the internal control. The internal control, you hold the button for up to 3 seconds, and then you're going to see this flash. See that? And then it'll allow you to use any of these commands here to adjust things that you see, speeds and colors, so on and so forth. You've got your different modes that you can select through the edges in different panels there. And then you also have your face buttons, which allow different control for colors as well. So you can adjust all your zone colors. Oh, here we go. And you can adjust the speeds. Let me not hold both at the same time. You can adjust the speed, speed them up, slow them down. Both do the same thing. But for some reason, I always want to make that be speed up and that be speed down. It's just the way I feel. It's weird. Adjust zone modes with the L bumper. So it goes through the different modes that are available. Speed settings, like I said, speed settings right here. And then going back, R bumper, adjust all the color zones. So the directional pad will adjust pretty much all the other zones. You can see them control up there and then flash up here. So that'll be your zone control right there. The different zones will flash. You see it there. Different zone flash. You see it there. And then you can adjust everything from there. So what I would suggest is get to know your controls, get to know the instructions. It could get a little frustrating at first, but don't allow it. Just spend some time with it. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section below. I'll be glad to assist you even further. But get to know your zone controls through the D-pad. Get to know your speed settings and get to know your modes and colors. So that's going to be the best thing in order to get them all going. Now, if you want to turn this off and then just go to standard, you go back to holding that internal button, and then it goes back to however you set it. So as you can see, all my externals stayed the same on however I left it. Now, this is what I had done. I had made it so they just all speed on their own and go on that speed together. But you can adjust anything as you want it. Previously, you saw that I had 2 different zones changed. You can do it. So you have this zone, one color, this zone, another color, and then the other 2 zones, other colors as well. So with that being said, let's take a look at the screen and how you can change it with external mode on the controller. Okay, so we're going to set it up here. I have the little sensor right here. You can't see it. I made it in the dark so you guys can see the color adjustment a little bit better. You hold the external button on the back and you can see things flash. Now you use the D-pad to change the different modes of what you want it to do. And then hit the face buttons to control the color zones. So we'll leave it at that. We're going to... Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I like that soft blue. I'm going to hit it. And there you go. That's how you control it with the controller and all the fancy lighting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all of that. The unboxing, the controller lighting, the RGB light strips on the back of your TV and how to control that. If you have any questions about it, let me know. Drop it in the comments below. One thing I'm going to say to end the video off is I usually like a lot of PowerA stuff. I love the way the controllers are built. I love the way, well, they control. Simply, to put it, I like the accessories like the Sonic cases and stuff like that. Now, do I think this is a good controller? Time will tell. I like the weight, I like the build, I like the feel. Everything works fine when I tested it on the screen with the apps and whatnot. Everything seems to work just great. The problem is, I still think this could have been done a little simpler. Someone who's just getting into the RGB setup with their game consoles and stuff is going to get a little frustrated with the way those controls directions have been set up in the manual, in the paperwork. Another thing is, I think that the PowerA HQ app, if it recognizes the controller, I think you guys should be able to PowerA should take it one step further and allow app control for the colors. It's going to make it a lot simpler, especially for first time brand new adopters of RGB controller technology. It's just going to make it a little more simpler for people across the board. Once you get the hang of it and what each function does and how to do it, it becomes a lot simpler. Make sure you read those instructions, get to know them, try to memorize the sections and pay attention. It's easier to set this up in the dark, crazy, when you're looking at the outer colors. Is what it is. These are not as bright as I thought they would be as the face ones. It's just, I guess, the way it's built. Overall, I would say this is a solid controller. I can't wait to continue using it and getting to know it a little better, especially with all the RGB functions. And like I said, I really hope PowerA updates the app to enable RGB control through the app on the controller. That is probably my only gripe about this so far. I do like the fact that it's Type-C. I like the weight in it. I understand why it has more weight, because there's a lot more tech in it with controlling the lights, having the lights, and to be able to access the strip and control that as well. But with that being said, it feels like a solid controller. Look for this very soon. I'm not sure who all is going to be carrying it. Like I said, I was just sent it, and hopefully it should be at retail, if anything, on their website. Check out their Instagram, and you guys can definitely see more of that there. I do like this. It's just going to take me some getting used to, memorizing the zones, and whenever I want to change the colors. So as you can see right now during the video, I wanted to hold it here just so you guys can see all the different colors that it can change, and you can still see it during the light. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share this video. I know you're going to have questions. Drop them in the comments below, and I'll be able to answer every one to the best of my ability. And again, thank you, PowerA, for sending me these. I really enjoy it. Like we always say, be legendary. Thanks again.